Good morning. How's everybody doing? Got a few more folks coming in. Well, first and foremost, welcome. This is a very, very exciting day for us and for all of you in the city of Louisville. My name is Jason Ballard. I'm the director of the IT department here. And to my right is Angela Langston. She's the senior VP over implementations and customer service at Accela, who is our now long-term partner in this endeavor. But I wanted to first kind of start off with, thank you to all of you who have contributed to this effort to this point. As most of you know, if not all, this has been a very, very long journey of working with tools and systems in ways that have worked for us for probably since the mid-90s, that have evolved into some things that maybe haven't been working for us so well in recent years. And so, to me, when I look at this holistically, this is kind of a reflection of kind of the city as a whole. In the mayor's terms, he talks about the things that are going on in the city as a renaissance. This is one of the biggest booms in Louisville's history since he's been around, and he's been here a long time. So it's a very, very exciting time for the city. You're seeing the Bridges project come to completion. Second largest infrastructure project in the United States. I want to say it's about $2.5 billion worth of work. Today, we have around $6 billion being invested in the city as a whole, with construction and renovation and revitalization. You see that on Whiskey Row. You see that in 6 or 7 new hotels. You see that with the Dixie Corridor that's coming up, and we've got a handful of efforts going on the west end of Louisville that's going to hopefully revitalize that area and continue to push Louisville forward as a competitive city of the future. With all of this energy, with all of this forward momentum, and Louisville being able to get on the top 10 list of some very lucrative list of top 10 places to live for cost of living and for jobs and growth and opportunities, becomes an opportunity for us as a metro government to meet the needs of the future. And so the path that we're on, using the existing tools and existing processes and how we do our business, in my view, is not lending, is not going to be able to support us very well in keeping up with this momentum of the city, keeping up with the demands of the consumer and the citizens out there. The consumer wants to have more personalized services. They want to be able to customize their options, and they want more engagement, more feedback, more information from cities. The days of the cities doing business kind of behind the curtain, and then only certain thing is revealed to the citizens, and the citizens feeling like there's this black hole of government, those days are over. We have to be open and honest and transparent about everything that we're doing, and you're seeing that more and more and more in government. And so we want the metro government to be successful. We want to be proactive. We want to be on that leading edge where we're driving the city, not being pulled by the city. And so today is the first day on a new chapter to take this city forward. We cannot continue to be successful on this path that we're on. We have to change. We have to invest in technologies, which we have. We have to think about different ways of doing things process-wise, and how we engage the citizens, how they follow up with the citizens. All of those things has to change. I'm not saying we're doing anything wrong. I'm just saying, to meet the needs of the future, we have to get smarter. We have to leverage things at our disposal better, and empower all of you, the employees, the people that are doing the work, with the power of all the resources we can give you to make this city the best. And so we have gone through a 1.5-year long effort of looking at what's on the market, what is the best in the business to take us forward and serve our citizens the best we possibly can serve them. Thank you all for being a part of that journey. We've selected who we think is the best in the industry. The mayor wants the city to be the best. The mayor wants us to partner with the best. And I can honestly say, with all integrity, that we have absolutely picked the best partner. Accela is in well over 25 different cities and at the state levels. Their expertise is in government. They're not in the corporate sector. They're only focused on government. So they best know how to serve citizens from a government perspective better than anybody out there. And that's the result of the RFP and all of the research we did, concluded with that as a final report. They have been phenomenal to work with. And I'm not just saying that because we hired them. I'm not saying that because, I want to make everybody feel good. I genuinely feel they are a wonderful long-term partner. We've entered a long-term partnership where they're going to provide us top-notch services to take the city forward. All right, next. Okay, so as we go forward, we are going to transform how we deliver products and services. So in some cases, like permits and inspections, we're still going to do that. We're just going to do it probably a different way, hopefully a better way, a more streamlined way, a more efficient way, using tools and technology. But there are also some other things that we're going to do that are different. That's going to allow us to open up the lens of government and allow people in so we can collaborate with citizens, because the future is public-private partnerships and more of an open and engaged citizenry with government. Because together, when people come together, and you see that in the news today, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, especially in our country and certain cities, where communities have to come together or we're not going to have a bright future. We're going to leverage new tools like mobile apps. We don't have mobile apps today in many cases, but we're going to have mobile apps. We're going to give the citizen a personalized access and view of what's going on and how we're delivering services. We do that through things like Louisville today, but we're going to give the customer a portal where they can log in and they can see everything going on. They can look up everything by their address and see everything, not just in silos. And so as you can see on the screen, we're going to change how Metro runs internally and how it serves citizens. And that's very exciting. I'm very excited, I'm pumped, I'm ready to get going. And so what we need from you is an open mind, a willingness to come to the table and learn and think about new ways of doing things as we go through this 22-month transition of a new system. And we need your time. At the end of the day, when we're done in 22 months, the product that we have will be a result of how much you contributed to the system. The more you contribute, the better it's going to be, and the better the citizen's going to be served. So please, help us there, and thank you so much. So without further ado, I want to introduce you once again to Angela Langston from Accela.
Thank you. And I just want to echo that this truly is a partnership, and we are so very thankful and grateful for all of you being so diligent in the RFP process and for the selection. We have done this 2,200 times. We have 2,200 customers. We have been doing this for over 20 years. So we are very excited to bring to you our industry domain expertise, along with the product and the product experts to help be your guide. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you are the users, and it's so important that this journey together and the experience of the software is one that makes you want to use it. Just like the first time you got the iPhone or the iPad, you're like, wow, this is pretty cool. this is really going to help me in a day-to-day communicate, respond, and all of us at the end of the day are citizens. And it's important as citizens that we understand that we all have expectations. We have expectations as far as how we interact with our bank, how we interact with our schools, how we interact with transportation when we're flying, when we're using Amazon with a FedEx package. And all of us as citizens now expect our governments to have that level of communication with us. I've been working with Accela since '98, and I actually am a resident of the Commonwealth. So I'm even more ecstatic to be here today. I've worked with cities all around the US, including New York City, including Seattle, Lexington, Columbus. And I am just so looking forward to the opportunity to stand up here at the City of Louisville, a system that will truly transform the way that you communicate and interact with your citizens, with your customers, but most importantly, help you gain efficiency and effectiveness in your day-to-day operations. We have a video that I think helps bring this into perspective. So if we could click on the link, we'll take a look. In selecting Accela, you have selected a partner that speaks citizen as well as government. We expect all of you to be able to speak Louisville. And together, we can bring the synergy together to ensure that as we move through the deployment of the software, we will be able to work smarter and more efficiently, and at the end of the day, be able to provide services that all of us want to provide to be the best we possibly can. With that, I'd like to also introduce our project managers. Matt and Cornelia will be our guides on this journey, so I'm going to turn it over to them to talk a little bit about what to expect.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you.
Obviously, I'm Matt, and this is Cornelia.
Good morning.
I am Louisville Metro's project manager. I've met a lot of you here in the room, and if I haven't met you, I probably will be meeting you shortly. So I've been with the organization now for almost 3 weeks, so I'm not sure I would say that I'm an expert, but I've been doing this in varying capacities in the industry here for about 14 years, working on implementations of various size. I've known Angela as well as some of our other Accela counterparts here for years, and very excited to be part of this project, be part of this team, working with Cornelia, partnering with her to deliver this solution. So if we could, Cornelia and I are going to talk for a few minutes about the road ahead of us and what you have to look forward to. So, the Access Metro project team. So this is a little bit about the composition of the teams that are going to be working together to deliver the solution. At the highest level, we've got our executive oversight team, who we've got Jason and Angela on that team, and then also in an upcoming slide, we'll talk into some of the specifics of who's part of that project team. But ultimately, the executive team is the highest level of project escalation throughout the project. They are going to make sure that we as a core team have the resources we need to implement this solution and get the type of value that we have targeted to get out of this major investment for Louisville Metro. So once we go one level down, we get into the project management team, and you can see more than a couple of names in there. Cornelia and I are going to be partnering together on the day-to-day execution of the project. We're going to be working closely with our oversight leaders. For me, that's going to be Tim Welsh and then Malcolm from Accela. We're going to be partnering and working closely with our core team members, and I'll highlight who those people are here in just a few minutes. But our core team members, we're going to want to pay some special attention to, because our core team members are going to have some of the most significant investment into this project that doesn't exactly involve the pocketbook. They're going to be involved in the day-to-day operations of the project. They were highly thought of by their leadership and put in this position for a reason. They've got a comprehensive understanding of how things operate today, but they also understand the strategic value and future foresight for what this project needs to be for Louisville Metro. We're going to be taking a great deal of these team members' times. They're going to be liaisons into the units that they're representing in case we need to go get an important decision or we need to go get an important resource. So we're going to be working very, very closely with our core team members. They're going to be, for lack of a better word, they're going to be the heartbeat of this project. And ultimately, our executive team members are going to be holding our core team members accountable to the success of the enterprise solution. So no small task for our core team members. They've all signed off on this. They're ready and willing and excited to get going. And then towards the bottom, and certainly not at any less value, are our subject matter experts and our liaisons. Subject matter experts, they are going to have targeted involvement throughout the project. They're going to have specific expertise to a particular functional area. Maybe they're code enforcement investigators, they're permitting inspections. They're going to deal with payments and billing and revenue. They might be taking care of assets out in the field. They might be taking care of the calls that are coming into the call center. So those subject matter experts are people we're going to have to, they're no less important than anyone else, but we are going to reach out to them for targeted involvement throughout the project. And I'm guessing that if you're sitting in this room, you're probably going to get called on at some point or other throughout the project. So we're looking forward to getting those people on the project. And then we have our liaisons. Liaisons are team members that might need to stay informed and consulted on the progress of the project to make sure that we're delivering the value that's expected. They might hold the resources. You know, they might not be a core team member and they might not be a subject matter expert, but maybe they're a leader that controls some resources that we need to get into the project to develop a new process or streamline something or implement a new piece of technology. So this is the very high level structure of the project that we're going to be working collaboratively to deliver. So I'm not going to read the list of our executive sponsors, but you can see the names on that list. It's a veritable who's who amongst our Louisville Metro leadership. And I believe the names alone represent the investment and the engagement of the executive leaders here with Louisville Metro. Our executive sponsors can expect monthly updates from the project management group, as well as being fed upwards from their core team members. There's going to be monthly meetings set up to keep them informed of progress. And then throughout the project, there will probably come times where our core team members need to escalate important decisions or progress updates up that ladder to our executive team members. Our core team, if you're a member of our core team, can you please stand up and take a look around? I'm going to highlight our staff. And yeah. And now I think that we're going to sing a song for every, no, I'm just kidding. We're not going to. So I did want everybody to take a moment and recognize who our core team members, like I mentioned, they're going to be the heartbeat, and they are going to be ultimately the champions for the success of this project. And we're going to be working very closely with these core team members over the next 20 to 22 months. If you see them coming, feel free to give them a vote of confidence. If they're asking for some help, please give them the ear and the support that they need throughout this project, because it's not going to be easy. We're going to be working with these guys on a day-to-day basis. They're going to be part of the monthly updates that need to go up the ladder to our executive core team members, as well as to everyone else that's going to need to remain consulted and informed on our project. We're going to have weekly core team meetings, and then as they're about to find out over the next few weeks, they're going to be parts of the project where they're very, very heavily and densely involved, and then when they're ready to cry uncle, we'll back off a little bit and let them breathe a little bit so they can get back into the flow of things. So, as we move forward here, let's talk for a few moments about critical success factors for the project. And I'm going to turn it over to Cornelia to speak to this here in just a moment. But when we started brainstorming what it would take to be successful, one of the first things that came out of somebody's mouth, I don't remember who it was. Sorry, I'm not going to give whoever that was the credit they deserve. But something we talked about was success will be defined and how we partner together to deliver the Access Metro project. And that's not just those sitting in here. It's not just our core team members. It's not just our executive sponsors. It's not just our partner, Accela. It's all of us collaboratively working together. When we need the support that we need from subject matter experts, that we get it. If we need to escalate an important decision or a process flow redesign, that we can get that in a timely fashion. So, speaking of the value that we can get out of our enterprise, we've got another video here from not too far away that talks to the value of an enterprise implementation. So if you can kick that off for us, please.
We were trying to push for a system, an enterprise-wide system, to remove antiquated systems that were siloed among individual departments as well as the divisions, subsequent divisions within those departments. And having one system was ideal for the city. And asset management was the first start in this to track our assets, all the subsurface infrastructure effectively. Stormwater, sanitary, pump stations, air release valves, force main locations, those types of assets that we needed to quantify. And then also from that information, if we had a flood event, we would be able to track where we were having overflows so we could direct construction projects to those areas of greatest need effectively. From that nucleus, we knew that we could expand out to our divisions of engineering from the standpoint of design, moving towards construction, our division of planning from the standpoint of looking at capacity assurance for the city from the standpoint of our sanitary and stormwater and the capacity that currently exists within the lines that we had. And then that also would tie into building inspection from the standpoint of permits once we had approved plans and designs. The second phase of implementation is going to be fantastic from my perspective in that we're now going to have a dedicated means to review plans. Developers will be able to submit their plans online. We'll be able to review those online among our divisions. So I'm really excited from the standpoint of having the ease of communication among our divisions, but also that ease of communication among constituents, residents, developers, outside of our core group of just the city government, being able to direct questions and concerns to the city itself. We want to be, rather than a 8 to 5 shop, I want to see Lexington as a 24/7 shop. Regardless of time of day, if somebody needs to file a permit, they can get online and do so. Once business hours open, we're there to address that. I think it's going to improve efficiencies and workflow immensely. Communication just among divisions is going to increase, per my vision, and so far as the second phase of implementation. So I think the return on investment is going to be enormous.
So again, my name is Cornelia Gibson, and that was Kevin Wendt in Lexington, not too far away from you guys. And I actually had an opportunity to visit them not too long ago. And the vision that he just shared with you guys actually had been realized. Their second phase has been implemented. And so they've not only taken their city from the water quality management project, they have implemented all those other areas. So that's what we want for you guys, because that's, you know, what where Access Metro is about. And so one of the things we want to talk about is the critical success factors of a project. You are the most critical pieces to this project. You have the knowledge, you have the expertise. And so we're going to depend on you for your time and your knowledge and the flexibility and balance. We do not want to disrupt the shop. We know that every day you have a day-to-day work. So we will be working together, Matt and I, to make sure we balance. We know that there's meetings you have to be in, there's projects you have to do that are current. So we're going to make sure that we get with each leader and make sure that we balance that, because we can't have the current shop falling fast when we have the project going. So we'll be talking to you guys about how we best communicate, how we can make sure that for optimal times for you to be in the meetings and the sessions so that we can gain that expertise. That is a critical success factor. So we are going to make sure that we are working with you to make sure the shop day-to-day operation keeps going. The other thing that we want to talk about is the responsive and decisive decisions that everybody has to make. So the leadership that Matt had talked about as far as escalation, sometimes you're going to be in meetings and you're going to want to do something different because you want a different way to do things. Best practices, we bring our expertise from Accela. We've been, this journey we're on, we've been being able to gather some things along the way. And so we will be introducing things that we might find a different process or different way you can do things. And we want you to be open to that. But sometimes you might have to escalate that to make that decision. So we know the people that you'll be having to escalate that. Sometimes you'll be empowered to make that decision in the meeting yourself. And sometimes we might have to get your leadership to be able to agree that we're going to change the way we're doing business today and we're going to adopt a different change. So, and I'm talking about change. So that is big. The next slide, we're going to talk about change itself. One of my past lives, I used to be a change management analyst. And change is not always a thing that we always embrace. We say we do. But I used to do an experiment with people that are right-handed. Whatever you write your name and your date of birth. And then everybody can do it, and we timed it. And then we asked them to do it on the opposite hand. And so it took a little longer to be able to write, unless you're ambidextrous, to write your name and address or anything with the other hand. So we know that we're going to have some of these 5 phases, storming and forming. We're going to form in a team now. That's what we're doing right now. This is the project team. These are the executive sponsors. We're forming a team so we can partner together so we can go on this journey that Jason talked about. So we're going to go through some of these 5 phases, and optimal phase is performing. That's what we want Access Metro, our project, to do. We want to make sure that some of those things that Kevin talked about, 24/7 business, we want to be able for our citizens to be transparent, to see things, to go in online at 2 o'clock in the morning, apply for a permit or a license or something like that. So we want to make that happen, and in order to make that happen, we have to partner, and you are our partners, key partners. So we want to make sure that we all kind of walk this journey together. So the next thing we're going to talk about is our project roadmap. So this is the journey. We've talked about a journey a couple times earlier in the slide. So this is our project journey. Right now we are in planning. We actually have several of our staff here and some others that have been looking at things you provided us. You've provided us workflows and information, and our team has been analyzing that. They've been looking at, okay, how they do business today. And we want to, because we want to understand your current state, but we also know you don't want to be in that current state, right? So we're going to make sure that we look at what you do today to make it better, because we want to be able to go through that stage. So we're right now planning. We're projecting a schedule. I'm working with Matt and other team leaders to make sure that we have a schedule for that journey, a roadmap, so we can know, when we're supposed to meet significant milestones. This is our project kickoff. This is a significant milestone. We're kicking off our project. We're getting ready. So we're happy that we've already met one. So the next phase we have 6 phases in our implementation process, and it's initiation, which is now. We have our to-be analysis phase, which you guys will be a part of soon. Solution foundation. In the to-be analysis phase, we're gathering information. Let me explain. So we are gathering information. We're talking with you. We're talking through your processes. We're trying to figure out how you want to best do things. So the to-be is what you're going to be doing. So if you are doing a process today this way, We want you to tell us what's the best way to do it. Somebody in here might say, I wish I could do this. We want to know those wishes. We want to know what you wish you could do, because our system, more than likely, can handle those wishes. So we want you to bring those into the meetings and be very empowered to talk and make sure that you're telling us what you need, because we can only give you what you need unless you tell us. The Solution Foundation, after you've told us what you want to happen, we start building it. We get it together, and our team goes back and they start configuring that information to make sure that your vision comes to life, and as well as bills. So those are some of the data. So data conversion. You're on a system now. We'll have to convert that data, and then we'll start getting ready. That's the part that everybody's happy. We've kind of went through the change, and we've kind of went through a storm or two maybe, and we have gotten to the other side, and we see a rainbow. So we're all going to get together and get ready, and we're going to get trained, and we're going to understand what we need to do, and start having you test the system, making sure that what you said you wanted, you're actually getting and testing, and then we go live. That's when we party. That's when we really party. So I know Matt he wants to talk about, some of the other granular details of our roadmap here.
Right. So yeah, just taking a look at our project roadmap, what we have immediately in front of us, like Cornelia said, we're going through some detailed project planning so that we can come back and say, this particular unit and this particular function is going to go live on this schedule. Right now we've got a high-level time frame, but we don't need it to be high-level. We need to drill into the weeds and figure those details out. So that's what Cornelia and I are working on over the next couple of weeks, and we're going to be working closely with our core team members to understand how is the best way to get there. Understand better when your units are busier versus when they're not so busy, and in general when key resources are going to be available. So that's what we're working on now. We are kicking off some overview conversations, such as how do we start planning and executing on data conversions, report writing, some of the more technical pieces like the interfaces that we have in the project. So we've got some of those sessions scheduled for this week. We also have some very dense product training for our core team members so that they can start understanding what the end state of the solution looks like. Because right now, we understand Louisville Metro terms, right? We understand what workflow means for us and what fees mean for us, but we also have to learn the differences between that and the Accela product so that that will inform the design of the solution as we move forward. So we're going to be very intense for this first week, absolutely, with our core team member and then a few of our key subject matter experts that have wonderful historical knowledge. So they're going to be very, very busy this week. Next week, we're going to move into some of our user engagement teams. Our partner Accela has got a particular program to help work on user engagement throughout this project to help ensure project success. So we're going to be working closely with them to have some conversations with each unit about expectations and the product. So that's the upcoming 2 to 3 weeks, and then Cornelia and I are working right now on developing those dense analysis sessions that are going to be kicking off the week, I want to say the week of October 10th.
Yes.
October 10th. So from October 10th, at least through the end of the year, there are going to be some very dense analysis sessions scheduled with core team members as well as subject matter experts. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of you very soon. And that'll take us through the end of the year. We do have an initial deliverable. We are planning for a proof of concept release to release something in the first quarter of 2017. We're going to identify a reasonable deliverable and milestone that we can do proper analysis and discovery on and put it into some type of live fashion to help show some incremental progress and value for the project. So we're looking to do that in the March-April timeframe of 2017. And then Cornelia and I are working through the planning process now so that we can say this particular unit will go live at this time and this date up through our planned 20 to 22 month timeframe. So those are some of our key upcoming activities and what you have to look forward to. And with that, I'll turn it over to Tim to wrap it up and bring us home.
Thanks, Matt. Is anybody excited? Yes. Yay, great. Does anybody think that this is going to be easy? No, okay. Does anybody think that this project is going to go perfectly well? All right. I want you on the team. I want you to be right next to me the whole time. I'm asking you these rhetorical questions because I do think they're important. These are things that I suspect will likely occur over the next 22 months. Very important people who are working on this project will have to leave the project or even leave the organization, and that will suck. Very important members of your team will disappoint you at times, and that'll be frustrating. You might be upset and frustrated with the IT department of Metro government, because that could happen. It might have happened a time or two before. We might recognize that our product and our vendor, despite all of the work we've done and the investigation and assurance that we have quality people and a quality solution, we might discover along the way that in fact it comes up a little bit short in certain ways, and we have to deal with that. I say all these things because I think that one of the messages and the way that we approach this that I've heard others say, but I feel like at the end of this, as I close up, we want to really emphasize is that it will not go perfectly, but that does not give us reason to complain and to give up. And so the slogan for this project, it talks about next generation. What that says to me is we have a legacy here. We do have some legacies around here. The current system is a legacy system. Nobody was not, poorly intentioned putting it in, but there's a legacy that's left for the people who inherited it. Some of us came in, there it is. Our opportunity, especially people who've been here a while, like me, I've now been here a while, I can say that, is I get to leave a legacy for the next group of government employees and for our community. And so as we go forward, in the moments of realizing this is not perfect, this is hard, darn it, this really great person just left to go to some other place. Let's keep the end in mind and not let that be the enemy of making this a great outcome. So with that, I'll facilitate any questions you guys have.